Alright, so that's the preliminary interior route. So we got the neck pocket, the pickup cavity and control cavity, the tremolo route, and the input jack. So now we're going to do the perimeter cut and get that going. And then we can move on to the next step. After this initial cut, you can remove the template and then use your cutting surface as the template, and just the bearing bit will ride on that. If you notice that the cutting depth of the router bit really isn't a whole lot, because what we're going to do is basically do about probably 5, maybe 6 passes on this piece. And you just want to take a little bit of a bite at a time. And it'll come out a lot better, you won't burn the wood. And if something goes awry, it's a little easier to correct. Okay, we're going to do another route, okay? So what we've done here is, we've routed the perimeter some more, and we've also installed the perimeter cutting template, our secondary template as it were, to get in a little closer around the horns, and also lay out the holes for the neck plate. This is kind of the back template as it were, and I can show you when I remove this, where this cutout kind of lays in the whole deal. All right, so we're going to make one more pass, and I'm going to pop this off, and then the cutout is going to serve as a template, and we're just going to finish this thing off. All right, so we're going to remove the template, okay. See how the cut is nearly through the body. So that's going to pop out in just a sec. All right, what I'm putting in here is a little jig. Because if you don't, this kind of fills in the neck pocket. Because as we're routing it, it needs this edge in order to cut on. So we used to use this as a fill-in. So it's kind of a specialty jig I had to make to get this whole deal to work. And this little fill is here because the depth of this route is a lot shallower than this. And to get a nice clean cut, you need a little jig. Just a couple specialty things we made for this type of operation. All right, here we go, guys. Here's the reveal. Here's the completed body. So left to do, we have to do a forearm contour, like this, and a belly contour. I'm going to cut that right into there. Alright, this is called an oscillating spindle sander, and this one's 4 inches in diameter. Just the right size to cut into a thick slab of wood like this. So this works out well for the back contour. And then for the forearm contour, you'd hold it somewhat like this, at this type of an angle, and just pass it like this as you go through. And then you kind of rough it out with something like this, and then you take a block and finish it off. documentary, we're talking about guitar construction, and in particular, we're making bodies. And this body was made with the templates that are seen in the video. And this one's all finished, obviously. And it's finished in nitrocellulose lacquer. And the color is a Ford color from 1964. It's just simply called teal. And it came out pretty well. I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but it doesn't look brand new, certainly. And that's kind of by design. I kind of like things that are old and authentic looking. So it's a bit chipped up, and the paint has some crazing or cracking in it. And that's what old nitrocellulose lacquer does. It kind of shrinks and contracts. But it's very musical. It's a nice, brilliant finish on it, so it doesn't mask any of the tone of the wood. And this guitar came out really well. It probably took 1.5 years to put the whole deal together, with cutting out the body and finishing it and fitting the pieces to it. This Perloid is not typical on a Stratocaster, but it's kind of, you know, in that 60s flavor. We wanted that antique-y Perloid kind of look to it. And then we finish it off with binding on the neck. And again, this is finished in nitrocellulose lacquer and with the pearl dots. And this guitar probably weighs right around 7 pounds, which is nice. And even acoustically, it's got a lot of resonance to it. So yeah, this is what we've been making in the shop for the past handful of years, and we've gotten very consistent with the way these things come out. They all sound pretty close to one another. Nice big tone. Good stuff. This I picked up from a friend of mine, and it's called a Fender Champion 600, and it's a reissue of an amp they did like 60 years ago, and it's kind of, you know, the two-tone Tolex and this kind of suede-looking grill cloth. It's you know, it's before 50s. It's way back, and I think it looks more like a radio or something would have looked from back in the day. But again, this is a reissue, but it's all tube, and as you can hear, it's, you know, it's just got a wicked tone to it. This whole thing started with, I got a 65 Strat that, like most guitars from back in the day, was refinished in like a mongrel. It was mixed up parts. So I needed to replicate a neck, and the body had been, it wasn't the right body. It was sold to me as a 65, and then I come to find out it's not. So I have a 63 Stratocaster, and being 2 years apart, they're close in how they're constructed and all that. So